All right, everybody, we are streaming from Crunch Fitness in Yukon. That's right. On the road today, Tom is going to help us and help you, the consumer, understand the difference between a mortgage banker and a mortgage broker. And there's going to be some big differences. I'm really excited to learn about these questions today. And these are all top questions that consumers have when looking for financing for the Oklahoma City Metro home loan. So, Tom, I don't even know where to start. So, what you got to help us with this one today?
Well, I'm broadcasting from Edmond, Oklahoma, from my office. You're right down the street there in Yukon. Okay, so good question. I think I'm qualified to answer this question because I've actually been on both sides of it. Currently, I'm at Gateway Mortgage, which is a division of Gateway First Bank, I think is how we're supposed to be kind of branding ourselves at this point. So right now we're mortgage bankers, right? I'm a mortgage banker. The difference between a mortgage banker and a mortgage broker. Okay, so when I was a mortgage broker, the benefit of being a mortgage broker, whenever I was talking to people, is that I could broker your loan to other banks. So I had, let's say, 20 banks to choose from when I was a broker, and you had your handful of your favorites, right? That you knew them, you had relationships with them, so a lot of your deals went to those 5 banks, and those 5 banks can be big banks, right? Those 5 banks could be the Wells Fargos, the U.S. banks, the big banks of the world, right? Of the U.S. But you can broker to little bitty companies that just see a niche, and they wanted to buy those loans. So on the broker side of it, your loans can go to different places, different banks. You get to pick. Usually you would pick the one that had the best rate or the one that would pay you the most for the loan. And so essentially I get the loan, and it's Josh, and he's buying his first house. It's 20% down. I go look at the 4 different shops that I can send that loan to and decide which one's got the best terms, and I send it to that shop. That would be a mortgage broker. Now, I don't know the exact year, but let's say it was 2010-ish, because Gateway used to play in the broker field. We decided not to broker any longer. And what we did, we said, listen, all loans are going to be in-house at Gateway. We're going to service those loans as well. So technically at that point, we were no longer a broker. But we still have the ability to broker every now and then, Josh, when we need to. So I'm not a broker. I am a mortgage bank. I hope that kind of clarified a little bit of the difference between mortgage broker and mortgage banker, where I still have the ability to broker on some of the little niche products I was talking about, like a bank statement loan. I can still send that somewhere else.
Okay, so from a consumer standpoint, when we don't even, as consumers, we don't even know there is a difference. So when I came to Gateway now, and there's not a product that Gateway provides, there's still the chance that Gateway could broker the deal out to someone else, like the doctor loans. Does Gateway provide doctor loans?
Great example. No, doctor loans, the bank statement programs, some of those programs that aren't traditional loan programs, right? They're not your 30-year fixed and you've jumped through every income and asset hoop that I can put in front of you. They're little bitty different programs that are, I mean, technically, a lot of times it's a group of investors. They pulled their money together and they said, hey, we found an avenue of people we want to lend to. Right? For whatever reason, we feel like if their bank statement deposits add up to this amount, we should lend them money. It's outside of traditional lending, so let's do it at this rate. It's a need in the community. There's people providing it, and yes, we can broker that.
Okay, and then I just had another thought, a bridge loan. Now, even though you're a bank, and I don't even think mortgage brokers could do bridge loans, but can only like the big 4 do bridge loans?
Not really sure who is doing bridge loans right now. So we've been trying to find an avenue to do a bridge loan, and technically a bridge loan it's a really short-term loan. You're saying, hey, I've got equity in home A, and I want to buy home B, but I haven't sold home A yet. So I promise my equity in home A will be applied to home B when I do sell that home. So there's some risk for the bridge lender, um, um, but I'm not sure who's doing bridge loans right now. We're actually looking to create an avenue for it right now. We're just trying to figure out the best way to do it.
And in your prior experience when you were doing them, was there one of those consumer protection 3-day holds on bridge loans, or were bridge loans when you were able to do it right away?
I believe there was a right of rescission, what we call a right of rescission, that 3-day hold. When you're cashing out equity of your home, you most of the time you're going to get a 3-day right of rescission if it's a primary residence. That's on refinancing as well. So on a bridge, in my head, logistically, you would have a 3-day right of rescission.
And then when we're comparing mortgage bankers and mortgage brokers, besides the servicing for the consumer, was there any difference?
No, I mean, I think you want to talk to a reputable company. So, you ask your agent, hey, is that person reputable? Or you look it up. Is that person reputable? Do they close on time? Do they treat their consumer well? Is it a good experience going through a home buying process with that person? Whether they're going to broker it or service it, if that's important to you, then, that's kind of just one decision.
When it comes to mortgage banker versus mortgage broker, in 2008, when Dodd-Frank put together the legislation that he put together, were mortgage brokers previously commission-based only, and then because of Dodd-Frank, they went ahead and became employees too? Is that right?
No, I think the Dodd-Frank had a lot to do with how it is disclosed, the money that a broker is earning. So, again, I'm not on the broker model right now, right? I'm on the banking model. But how a broker shares with the consumer and discloses how they earn their money from the person they're brokering the loan to, or the company they're brokering the loan to, was a big piece of that Dodd-Frank Act, where you said, hey, I'm brokering your loan to, U.S. Bank, will say, and U.S. Bank is paying me a certain amount of money to broker it. I didn't have to share that with the consumer before. I think they have to share that with the consumer right now.
Okay. Well, from what I can tell, there's not much difference between a mortgage broker and a mortgage banker. Does that sound fair, you being a lender and
Well,
knowing?
because I'm on the banking side, I'm going to tell you the banking side is way better. Use the mortgage bankers. But no, honestly, I think it's use a reputable lender, period. If they're a broker, great. If they're a banker, great. But if somebody that's going to take care of you, someone that's going to, walk you through it, make sure you're getting in a good investment, doesn't really matter. Now, some people do care very much. They care about who services their loan. I set up auto draft and kind of forget about it. So to me, it's not a huge deal who services. But there's some people that really want this, to know who's servicing and what that servicer allows. So that kind of helps me every now and then. I say, hey, we service loans. You can come here.
And what you're saying about servicing for the consumer is where you make your payments?
Yep. So, coming through us, you get qualified. Let's say you get qualified on March 15th. You spend 2 weeks finding a house. April 1st, you find a house. You're going to close on April 30th. You get my office that whole 45 days. And then once you're done, you close, right? You still have a loan that you're going to make a monthly payment on every single month. That loan gets set up with our servicing department, which is a gateway, a gateway employee, a gateway umbrella. You make your payment to Gateway every single month, and you can still call me and ask me questions about your monthly payment. If you've got questions about insurance, if you've got, an insurance claim check that needs to be signed by the mortgage company and signed by the homeowner, people can drop their checks off here, bring them by, we stamp it and sign it.
What about their monthly payment checks? Do you get monthly payment checks there?
We have every now and then. I don't know who all is watching. Every now and then, yes, we do have people that drop their monthly payment off at my office. We just put a stamp and we mail it to the servicing center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But yes, every now and then. I mean,
Wow,
we have a few regulars, and I know
that's cool.
we love people, so it's a good chance to catch up with everybody monthly.
Do you dong the dong when they bring the monthly checks in for them?
No, but it's fun to just touch base with, the same handful of people that stop by.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. That's amazing. And you wouldn't be able to get that with a servicer or with a banker or broker, because a broker, basically, they're already running it all through another bank. So that's where, like, if you went to mortgage broker ABC, the bank you'd go to is bank XYZ, and there may not even be a bank XYZ in the state.
Correct. And then they may sell it again and sell it again and sell it again. So that can be a hassle, right? Every now and then you hear of that hassle of, I don't even know who my mortgage payment is supposed to go to. It's been sold so many times.
Yep.
So that's a good one to avoid. Another one that we get into more frequently now than we have been is a process called recasting, where let's say you don't sell your first house, you buy your second house, and then you want to apply a lump sum from the first house to the second house after you sell it. And that could be, 10 days later, that could be 6 months later, that could be 2 years later. If the person that's brokering your loan sells your loan to a servicer that does not allow recasting, right, then you lose that ability, you lose that option. So it's becoming more popular, the recasting conversation. So that's one benefit we have here.
Wow. Well, this has been really good, Tom. This has been really informative. I appreciate it. As always, is there any parting words that you think people need to know before we call this one a day?
Buy homes. Continue to buy homes. Don't worry about the market and the rates. It's a good investment. Over history, it's proven to be a good investment. Buy homes. Call me with any questions. We'd love to help.
Yeah, because they say that when you're paying rent, it's 100% interest.
That's correct. Oh, have you heard the new thing that was marry the house, date the rate, divorce the rent?
Yeah, just yeah, I hear you.
Something along those lines. I don't know.
No, it's good stuff. Good stuff. I like it. Well, I'm going to go back to a house that I already left and ask them for a spare key, because I forgot to do that when I took the listing. So now I got to go back and put a lockbox on it.
Awesome. Josh, thank you, man. I love this every week.
Yes, sir. See you next week.
See ya.